Hi, Bill Henshaw here again, and I have to present to you tonight what I call the scam of the week. My sweetie just got a letter from a law firm in Las Vegas, Nevada. Interestingly enough, Linebarger, Goggin, Blair, and Simpson, LLP. And if you bastards want to sue me for defamation of character, send me an email at youwinnincourt@gmail.com and let's have a go at it. Because you can't do what you're doing here. She gets this letter, a notice of delinquent fees or fines, and it's from allegedly from a traffic case in the Alameda County Court. Wouldn't you know exactly where my Oakland case is? Yet it has a number that she doesn't recognize, I don't recognize. It doesn't show up anywhere on the court website, and we can't find any information about these idiots in the Secretary of State's office. Because if you're doing business in California and you're out of state, quote unquote, you had better damn well be registered with the Secretary of State. Even if they otherwise had valid claims, they're not registered. And you wonder what the hell, I mean, you don't exist, you're not here. You know, maybe you're registered in Moscow, I don't know, but you're not registered here. So the whole point of this is, I drafted a real simple letter for her to send back to the address that they sent it from and asking a couple of questions and said, hey, I don't understand, because at the bottom of the letter it says, if you disagree with the court's records, please notify us. And they have a phone number, but we're going to send a letter. And said, not only do we not know how to disagree with it, we can't find the court record. It doesn't exist. Could you please provide details about this? The real issues here, though, as crazy as this sounds, at first blush, the real issues here are two big ones: delegation of authority and separation of powers. On the first one, and I just happened to have recently had a meeting, one of the damnedest things I've ever had with the public servant. We had a 90-minute meeting, the head of the local risk management department here. And I said to him, geez, I wish I could get 20 or 30 minutes like this with county council. We could solve a lot of problems, but they won't meet with me. They're too damn scared. That said, I asked him specifically this question about the local courts. Are you aware that the traffic courts are doing anything like this? And he said no, and he explained to me the process. I'm well aware of. What they do is the court is sent across the street to the county treasurer, and you get a bill from her for services. And if you don't pay them, then it gets more and more, interest and interest and this, that, and the other. I don't know these days if they ever issue a warrant for a willful failure to appear. Those of you in California may know that's Section 40508A of the Vehicle Code. And they may not. A quick aside here, but it's related to this, is 17 years ago I got cited and arrested on Memorial Day weekend. And one of the rare times I had to post bail because I work on the weekends. And if I didn't show up for work, my company was ready on a moment's notice to fire me, which in fact they did 5 years later without authority. So I had to post bail, and I go to this court and get convicted. And I go up later with my friend who's involved in this case, by the way, and I took some rolls of silver coins with me and gave them to the clerk and said, I want to pay this, but I don't know how much it'll take in silver coin. And the clerk said to me, well, we can't accept this except at face value. Now, silver wasn't then what it is now, which is about, I think, $12 or $13 an ounce. So that's $130 for a roll, but only at face value. They would love to do this all day long, except at face value. So I said, hey, will you sign this document for me about what you just said? I had it prepared because I knew it was coming. And she did. I sent a copy down to the then local dumbass, James Watson. I said, file the charges, willful failure to pay, 40508. 17 years later, I'm still waiting. This is what you do. The bastards can't define dollar. And this is equally true with your friendly local IRS agent, too. Same thing. So that said, they have that problem to start with here, even if. But the delegation of authority, I mean, and the first question I asked my new friend at the risk management, how can the court, public government agency, delegate authority to a private law firm? He was as puzzled by that as I was. I said, yeah, how in the world? I mean, they're not elected, they're not appointed, there's no oversight, there's no nothing. And then separation of powers, because in theory at least, only in theory, but the courts are what? Agency of the Judicial Department of Government. yet they're delegating authority to the executive Department of Government, and I've got a real problem with that too. So we're going to be asking these people. And by the way, anybody who's got a letter like that and a letter like this, whether it's from this law firm or not, I don't know. But if you got a demand letter like this, contact me. Send me an email at youwinnincourt@gmail.com, because I think these are going to result in some very quick, expensive settlements for them, because they can't possibly, even in a civil rights case, which isn't what I do, they can't go to court and make any claims. They don't have any to make. So if you've been through a thing like this, even if it's a while back, there's no statute of limitations on deceit, fraud, and treason. And that, by the way, goes back, you ready for this? Goes back to the statute of fraud 1679. That was in effect at the time the Constitution was ratified, and it was constructively continued for that reason. So that's a great deal for us, because no matter how many years you want to go back, they can't argue statute of limitations, because they fraudulently and treasonously withheld information from you, and they're liable for that. So that said, we'll see what develops here. And all of this ties into what I call the crown jewel of my unopposed issues, because if this can be done, it's more evidence that we're not in a state admitted into this union. We're at best in a federal insular territorial possession. And I challenge any of you, if you can find a provision of the Constitution of the United States, 1787 to 1791, that permits Congress and or the President together to achieve this effect, send it to me. If you can prove your case, I will provide you all of my materials complimentary. And that's almost $300 worth of them, using their quote-unquote undefined dollars. But I would love to see it. I can't find it anywhere. And that's the strength we have when we go into court, is we make these kind of issues and they don't have answers. This is what gets us out from under, and how important it is for you to learn and to teach your children so they can teach their children. So that said, remember to like my videos, subscribe, send me emails, tell your friends, and the email is important there at youwinnincourt@gmail.com about information if you have it on this, and to get information on my materials. Thank you.